All right, good morning, good morning. Sorry, run behind just by a few. Some of the notifications are taking some time to go out, so we'll give it a moment for those that are just now able to get logged in, because there's a lot to cover here today. A lot of important things you need to know as we head through the next few days. I'll walk you through it. Don't worry. Hope you guys are doing well. Hello, everyone. Wave meteorologist Brian Good. Welcome to Storm Talk on this 25th day of June. We're 6 months away as of today from Christmas Day. Have you started your shopping yet? I need to. Is it still Prime Day? Or is that over? I probably missed it. There'll be another Prime Day, Prime Week, whatever it is. There's like 3 of them a year, right? So we have plenty of time. Hope you guys are doing well. Thanks for logging on. Thanks for all the birthday wishes. Appreciate that. Was trying to skip over that. Unfortunately, you can't skip over it for at least the next 20-something hours, right? All right. David says, what'd you say, David? My money is on. It won't even do anything once again. Well, I don't know if it won't do anything once again really will apply, because it's done something every time. We've had 26 tornadoes this month alone, and 4 just from the past weekend. So doesn't mean if it doesn't hit you that it was nothing. So always have to do that perspective. Most, I get that. But I'm just helping David out so that he knows that consider yourself lucky. Never complain that you were missed on a particular event. Never complain, especially for a homeowner. If you're not one, you'll learn real quick that it's a good thing when they don't hit. I'm 25 today. She says, nope. I'm not 25. Wish, but no, I'm not. All right, so I think I think all the notifications went out, didn't they? Yeah, they're a little slow. They're just now starting to hit, but it's all right because there's just a few little nuggets I want to give you guys before we get into the nitty gritty for the remainder of the morning. Let's see. Let's start with the SkyTri camera, and you can see we've got a beautiful shot there. All of our Indiana cameras, and notice the darker clouds in the cordon. There's a reason for that. Some of you do have some rain on the radar this morning. And it's important to note where, because that will matter for later. And otherwise, kind of a hazy looking sky for the rest of wave country. All right, fair enough. Not a bad looking setup. The drought index came out today. Well, this actually has included several of the rain events, and it really hasn't changed a lot for those of you south of the parkways. You're still stuck in this relatively low-end drought status until you get into the Lake Cumberland area on the eastern side of Adair County, and it ramps up from a minor issue to much more of a major issue that has developed. That one little pocket in our far southeast corner, been hard to shake. Though it's worth noting, get back toward portions of, say, Ohio County, Muhlenberg County, even Hancock County, Kentucky, the values are going up a bit more there. Nothing too excessive, but for most of you watching, you're okay. You're in good shape. Obviously, because of the rain as of late. But when you look at the rainfall estimates, though, just from, hold on, let me get to the new one. There we go. Just from the 19th of June, which doesn't include both severe events, but includes at least one of them. And you can tell where that southern part of wave country has been skipped several times. So it does make sense whenever you do see the trends on that. Sorry, we got a spammer in there, and I cannot click them off. So just ignore them. Sorry about that. All right. So where do we go from here? Well, we have those clouds. We showed you that into cordon. Well, there's a reason why that will matter, because this little feature that's diving in across southern Indiana, it's about to run out of gas, but it will be the stepping stone to what will play out for later on today. So you can see the clouds have already been streaming in over cordon, over parts of Louisville, creating that high overcast look. Now let's get rid of the clouds and just zoom in just on this batch of rain, which has had some lightning with it. Not so much in the last 10 minutes. Seems like it's started to lose some of that. But it's located around Martin County, Indiana, now grazing into Lawrence County, a little bit of light rain, same into Orange County, Indiana. The thunder potential and the shower potential overall with this feature is going to wind down. And it's also going to be, at least appearing to our eyes when we look at the radar, it's going to be appearing to be putting on the brakes, slowing down as it heads closer to the Ohio River. As it does that slowing down motion, that will be the starting point for the next round, which will take another 4 or 5 hours to get going because it'll need the heating of the day to respond. And so this stopping point of this band of showers is crucial for where the rain begins later. And the way this is trending, a little further south, I think some of the modeling had it initially yesterday when I looked at it, but I think it's going to be very close to the Ohio River is where the stopping point will be. And the rain will look like it'll dissolve, but pay attention to the satellite. That will also give you an idea of where the boundary is. There's just not a lot of forcing here as far as there's a front or a boundary. It's very, very weak. The showers themselves are kind of creating their own, if you will. So because of that, it's hard to decipher where the storms will pop when you don't have an obvious front in the region. It's very diffuse. So just know that this is the spot we're going to be watching. We'll be right along the river, especially as soon as he's completely run out of gas, which is happening as I am talking to you all. And once they do refire, that's where we could get some gustier showers, mainly just heavy rain, lightning, and thunder, maybe some small hail in some of these that redevelop for the afternoon, but not widespread. They're going to have a tough time heading south, even with the new batch that forms. This is all attached to this secondary system, which is going to be a bit of a bigger play for us for your Friday, the way it's looking. In fact, your severe outlook for today does feature the diffuse boundary that front is trying to hold on to along the Ohio River, and a slight risk where the next feature, which will be an MCS, already developing back into Wichita. This is the train track that has already been established now. So now we just keep looking west to see how they roll along, and then we'll repeat over the same spots. You're going to be hearing the same communities, the same counties mentioned over and over again because of this kind of a setup. And this is going to take about 3 to maybe 4 days to shake. It's going to be a while. And a good chunk of the weekend will indeed be involved, the way it's looking. Here's the severe risk for tomorrow. It is a marginal for now. And I say for now because it stretches along 64 into Kentucky because of the MCS. But there is an interesting little kick to this little wave because of timing of day. Enough so, Storm Prediction Center has added in a low-end tornado potential at the 2% level. Again, it's low end, but it's focused basically right over us for tomorrow. There is some discussion about there being another upgrade, especially when it comes to the NAM model. And I'm going to show you the NAM. The NAM has a little bit more of an aggressive trend for the tornado potential for tomorrow afternoon. And if that becomes the more realistic setup, because the NAM has scored quite a few events this year, if the NAM is right, I'm not saying it is, it's basically in its own little island right now on this more intense idea. But this will certainly be the area to watch, be Indiana again, and northern Kentucky. Okay. And then we continue on with the severe risk, and I'm going to switch from tornado potential back to general SBC severe risk. It's a marginal bit more tilted. This is where the boundary will start to push in from the southwest, and the front will begin its tilt at that point. Then storms will be rolling in instead of from St. Louis. They'll be rolling in from Terre Haute, Indiana, and diving southeast. And that's how we'll end the weekend. Once that little wave continues to move off past us, then that's when we get into the heat, which is the other big headline of the blog today. All right, let's start off. This is the NAM model, and it is a little noisy, I will say. It can read a lot of cumulus, there's a lot of green. So not all of this is rain. I will kind of help guide you through that as we head through the next few updates here. For today, though, it's decent with the showers that are fading out near Orange County. Okay, that's fair. We get into this afternoon. It develops the new ones right along the Ohio River. That looks good. I mean, right now, I can't really argue too much with the NAM because it actually lines up from everything we just saw on the radar and satellite. And it's kind of how the game you got to play with this. Look at the radar, satellite, all the current things you can get that are real-time data, then compare it to futurecast and modeling and see if it's on track or it's way off track. If it's way off track right out of the gate in the first 3 hours of the update of the model, you can't trust anything it says after that. And in this case, so far it has my attention. We get into this afternoon. There is a low and severe risk. It's more your pulse severe for damage and winds that could develop or hail, but I think most of these are going to likely stay just below that threshold, but it could get a little noisy for a few spots. This is not a widespread storm threat. It's going to be very patchy in the cells that fire, and they'll hold on all the way through not only sunset, they'll hold on through the night. But anything later tonight into the first few hours of your Friday, including the next little batch that tries to roll in from Evansville, will be more elevated. So the severe risk is not as prominent as we head into tomorrow morning, but you could still get some gusty winds, some loud, very loud lightning and thunder setups there. In fact, a rolling thunder you could run into. Some of you love to sleep through that in the morning. That's what Friday morning may feature for part of the area. We'll just see how that evolves at Illinois, but I don't see anything too alarming for Friday morning. But then we get into the afternoon, and this is why it's very questionable on what the NAM's trying to do, or any model's trying to do, is okay, so yes, it's fair, Brian. We're going to get rain in the morning. But we know the old song and dance. You get rain in the morning, midday. If it doesn't clear out in time and you stay cloudy into the afternoon, then how are you going to get thunderstorms to refire in the afternoon? And you'll be right. That's exactly the same scenario here. Will this be noisy in the morning to where we can calm down the afternoon threat? If it's not, if this is much more sparse in nature or moves through here faster than Prague. Right now, this is 11 a.m. and it's already showing the sun coming back out into Evansville. That's not good. We don't want that. Tomorrow is definitely a day where the sun is bad. So here comes that wave. As it moves in, it begins to fire up. Just after the lunch hour, there'll be these spotty supercells that will try to develop ahead of the MCS. The center of the MCS will be like a mini low pressure. It'll be located, I would say, not too far away from Bloomington, Indiana. Adam, I'm talking to you. Near Bloomington, Indiana should be the center of it. But some supercell potential could develop in southern Indiana and track into northern Kentucky. But it's highly conditional. Got to get that morning wave out to see a scenario like this. So a lot of you, I'm sure right now, like, please, let's let the rain have a sacrifice a Friday morning with rain. That's fine if it means we can tame down Friday afternoon. And we don't really have the answers to this until we really see how Friday morning plays out, which I know can be frustrating, but that's the game plan here. Once those cells move on by, they really don't have a lot of staying power after sunset. So this is only about a 4 to 6 hour window that if there's going to be any severe weather along that second wave, that's when it'll happen. If I had to put a timing to it, I think 4 to 10 is probably a fair window to look at for tomorrow. We'll let you know later today if this were to actually impress us enough that we could get an alert day for it. I don't think we're there yet, but it's on the list, if you will. It's on our list that we're watching for. Once we get into the nighttime hours Friday night, the boundary does have a chance to get a little further south into southern Kentucky areas that need it. But we're not done. We still got more action that's going to roll in here out of Missouri. That will move in as we head into Saturday afternoon and night. That's where the model stops. I can't show you beyond this point, but it will repeat itself again Saturday into Sunday. Not as much of a kick on severe, more heavy rain. It'll take until Sunday night to really see that tilt happen and then lift north. And at that point, we'll get out of the woods. I meant to add in CSU, and I forgot to do that. But I will say that CSU did add in a tornado threat in exactly the same spot SBC did. So this is the Colorado State learning module for tomorrow. It did put in the low end tor threat just along the north of 64. So it's interesting. Sometimes we can sniff these things out in advance, and the NAM seems to be doing the same thing. All right, that's your severe thunderstorm side thing. The flooding issue is the secondary issue. That's the bigger one that will impact more of you than the severe thunderstorm side or any tornado potential. It is going to be flash flooding. And this could be a big event for heavy rain this weekend, especially in areas that have had a lot. Indiana's had quite a bit for sure. Right along 64, it spikes. They've already issued the flood watch that includes Louisville and points west, starting this afternoon at 5 o'clock when that second round of baby cells develop on the radar today. That's when they're going to start the flood watch. This is scheduled to go all the way to Saturday morning. Could this get extended? Absolutely could, just because the repeated rounds of showers and storms. So if you're not in the zone yet, that could change. And they're placing it very well where the area of the heaviest of rain could fall. And this is just an estimate from the Weather Prediction Center showing roughly about 1 to 3 inches of rain that could fall in the repeated zones there of southwest Indiana and very close to I-64. I will be very blunt with you guys. 1 to 3, fair, but it could be double of all of that. Yes, we could see up to 6 inches of rain in some cases as we head into this weekend. That's when we're going to run into flash flood warnings and maybe even some considerable flash flood warnings that could develop. So make sure you have the way to get notified. As we saw the other morning, the Apple app itself, the phones will automatically update you with a critical alert if it's a considerable flash flood warning. That's level 2 out of 3. that some of you may get if this were to materialize. So if you, I'm not saying cancel your plans, but certainly if you're going to go camping, anything outside where you have limited shelter, just start thinking of a plan to take action, because those two things, again, you're going to have to watch, and they'll know they conflict with themselves. Anytime you get into a tornado threat like tomorrow will feature for part of the area, you have to always get into the mindset of getting away from an unstable structure, get into a solid structure, get into the lowest level, get into a basement, a closet, something away from the exterior walls, right? But then you're going to switch the game plan and get into a flash flooding scenario. Well, then we tell you, get out of the lowest level, get to higher ground, get away from anything lying low. So there's two different actions you'll have to take. If you're a camper or you're going out fishing and you are the one responsible for your crew, you need to be responsible for knowing the differences here and the action that you need to take for your party involved, and still have a good time. But as long as you have a plan in place, that takes away a lot of the anxiety in these situations. If you just already know what you need to do, where you need to go, and everybody is aware. That way, if the active weather does indeed kick in, you can just take action and no one has to discuss it about what to do next. Takes a lot of anxiety out, trust me. So that'll be our flooding scenario that will get us into Sunday. I would say it should be tapered down by Monday. What questions can I get to? And I apologize, I got to switch to a different screen to see you all today. So hang tight. And especially for the weekend, we'll get to the hot side of things here in a second. But I just want to cover the weekend scenario first. Do you think E-Town will see much rain this weekend? You'll be on the edge there in E-Town. I mean, the modeling right now is saying, what, an inch and a half. But anytime you get a doubling of cells, you can end up with more than that. So you'll be on the edge of the heaviest rain zone. You're not in the flood watch technically, but that could easily change. So we'll see. Hey, Adam, you said I'm going to Western Wisconsin for the weekend. Oh, we're losing our storm chaser. I don't know about Western Wisconsin. I haven't had a chance to look. You'll be in the borderline of some gusty weather, but your storyline is going to be not only severe, but the heat as well. Very similar. Hey, Ashley. So to be clear, I don't have to stay up all night. Well, I hope not. I hope it's a Friday night. You may want to stay up all night, Ashley. But as far as severe weather goes, it's early. We'll fine tune this. I don't want to cause a panic of changing your plans up. But if we had to put a window, I would say 4 to 10, the way it looks right now. So no, that would not be an all-nighter if it holds. And I think really this is good. It's going to need the sun. It's going to need that heating after the morning rain to really fire up. And if it doesn't have that, I don't see much of a worry here. All right, fair enough. Okay, you won't be here to tell us what's happening tomorrow. No, I am out. This is my last day until July 6th. I'll be back in July. But we got the team here. They'll keep you updated. Thanks for all the birthday wishes. Appreciate that. You are so nice. Rebecca, what will the be like for this Sunday? Sunday storms are going to be, there could be some gusty winds with some of those, but there'll be a different motion. Everything for the most part that I've just described to you is going to be a west to east kind of deal. Sunday's the only day that's a little different. Sunday, it's northwest to southeast. So when you look at the wave weather app at the radar function, look to your northwest, and if there's anything red showing up there that's moving in, it likely is heading toward you. And if it's due west of you, it's likely going to miss you and pass to your south. So the motion will matter, but right now it looks to be northwest to southeast. Stephen Foster's Saturday come up at Churchill Downs. I'm not sure on the time on that, Joanne, but if it's during the daytime period, because it may be such an active Friday night that as far as just general rain and thunder after the severe threat, that may tame the radar down for several hours on Saturday. All of these events really are going to need heating, but it's the jet that ramps up, your typical low-level jet that ramps up at night. The night actually will feature more of an active radar than the daytime will be in many of these cases. There's just a little bit of a lag that happens. Sometimes it crosses over into the morning hours, what have you. But I would say anytime you get toward a midday, early afternoon, sometimes the atmosphere is quieting down at that point because it's trying to recharge. And take advantage of that window, because then you can do things outside before it fires at the next round. Hey, Crispy. Sorry, I missed your other part of the question. Is that 2% the worst case with the NAM and all the other models are showing almost nothing tornado-wise? It's not they're not showing nothing. They're just not as aggressive with it. The NAM's a little more aggressive on the idea that there will be more of a supercell structure to these cells. The others are more like spin-ups. So tornado is a tornado, but there is a difference. The NAM is showing, but the new NAM is coming in right now. So if we're still talking about this afternoon, then you know that the NAM model is holding on to its idea, but the NAM may very well lose it in future updates. It could just wipe it out and not go. As I added to, though, CSU did up the ante a bit too on its end. So I think the NAM sometimes could be a good teaser to where modeling may goes. And I will say also that SBC loves the NAM. They do. That's one of their favorite models. Besides the RFS, which I call Rufus now. I have to give these models a nickname because RFS-A is not, it's just not sexy. It's not. So I want to call it Rufus. Is Kentucky a no-go for Saturday? No, as I just mentioned, I think you will have several hours of dry time on Saturday. Just it'll charge back up again later in the day. So get some dry time. Just pay attention to the radar trends. If you have a lot of rain Friday night, your odds of being mainly dry, or at least get some dry time Saturday, go up. If you're very quiet Friday night, there's not much happening, then be aware it won't take long Saturday for storms to fire. I'm talking like early afternoon. So it all just depends on, these are all cause and effect scenarios. One event creates a problem for the next one. And it's tough to give you what step 4 is going to look like when I don't even know how step 1 and 2 is going to play out fully. But I have a general idea, which is why I'm here, is to give you a general idea, but the finer details will matter. So it's important you take this as just a skeleton or a guideline for your plan for the weekend, but it's important you keep checking back, because this is one of those setups when you get repeating nature and training effects, there's a lot of margin of error that happens. This screams by all means, and I'm sure I'm leaving this on the flooding. This screams flash flooding. Absolutely. This screams that more than it does a tornado outbreak and a lot of damaging weather, but it can sneak in. Those kind of elements as far as damaging winds can sneak into these equations sometimes and can catch people off guard. We're saturating the ground in a big way with another round of flooding. As I mentioned yesterday, the trees don't have as much of a foothold on the ground here. It's getting soggy to where your older trees, especially, they don't necessarily snap. They just uproot and tip over. So if you have a tree that is already showing signs of doing that, especially an older tree, and you've noticed that it's starting to lift a little bit in the yard and tilt, keep an eye on it. It could be a sign that even a wind that's sub-severe this weekend with another round of heavy rain, that may be enough to cause it to completely tilt over. And that's how we get a lot of our wind damage reports and flooding scenarios, are because of the older trees that uproot. It's most common, in fact. Hey, Wavy, got a crash on the Snyder at 71. Todd, the Godfather suit. Yeah, I know. Myra calls this Beetlejuice. That's what she refers to it as. Hey, Miss Turtle, should I water my tree I just planted this week, or do you think it's this rainfall will have it covered? I think the rainfall this weekend will have it covered. Nancy, do you know about Sunday night on timing? I don't at this point, but as we get into the evening, it should begin to ramp up. So later in the day is going to feature a higher chance than earlier, the way it looks right now, Nancy, but it's still early. Again, that's about that step 3 and 4 we talked about. All right, we got someone watching on Twitch. How you doing, Doc? What's it look like for the July 4th period? We're going to cover that because that is actually in the 10-day. Okay, so let me get to that. Let me get into the extended part, and I'll circle back around if you guys need more info from me on the rain side. Fair enough? Okay. So the other story, of course, is going to be the extended outlook. So far this year, we've only had 3 days in the 90s. Last year altogether, last season, I should say, we had 47. Wasn't a bad summer, but we did have our heat waves, right? This one coming will certainly be a heat wave. So far, we've only had 3 in the book, and I don't think that's too far from the normal. Here we go. Here's the euro, and it's showing the gold there. And I know it looks like heat, but the gold is the Cape. You can have a lot of storm fuel in Cape, but if you have nothing to take advantage of that or trigger thunderstorms in that environment, all you end up with is just a capped, hot, and humid environment. Hello, Myron. Sorry.
Happy birthday!
You know I'm live right now, right?
Huh?
You know I'm live right now, right?
I know.
you know that it's. I don't age, right?
You don't age.
No, I don't.
Hey, everybody, it's Be Good's birthday. Did you tell anybody?
I told them. They know.
You did?
They found out. I didn't have to tell them.
Oh, okay, good.
They're a little sneaky on that.
Okay.
What you up to?
Good. Just brought you a little birthday treat.
You did?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
So,
oh my gosh, you're so
treat.
sweet. Thank
and in
you.
case you don't like it, I got you a vegan blueberry muffin. I figured if you're allergic to everything in this vegan muffin will be
Don't act like you know me. Don't act like you know me. This is very sweet. This is
Paris baguette.
Oh, where's that at? Did you go to Paris to go get this?
I went to Paris this morning.
See, you got true friends when they do that.
I hear you like chocolate.
Ooh,
so it was like
oh my gosh.
It was like a chiffon cake.
Oh my goodness, look at this.
Isn't it pretty?
Oh, I don't know if I can zoom in here. We can zoom in. We'll zoom in on it. Hold on 1 second. Yeah. Isn't this lovely?
I hope it's good.
It looks good. Really good.
You like chocolate, right?
I do. I do like chocolate. I like blueberries as well.
I know. Oh, that's why I thought if this doesn't work,
okay, good.
Then the vegan, everything is safe.
Look at that. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Myra. That was so sweet of you.
I went to the weather office and you were already here. So I was like,
yes.
I'm going to crash his stream.
Well, and you know what? You know me, I don't really eat that much. So I
know. I didn't get you a whole cake because I was like, that'll last him forever. So I got you a cake slice.
I've had one crumb for the entire week. So thank you very much.
You're
welcome. Very, very sweet.
I just want you to know that I love you and I'm so glad you were born and you are such a bright light in this world. So happy birthday.
Thank you, my friend.
Love you. So sweet. Love you, love you, love you.
Oh, love you too.
All right.
You were so nice. Don't cry. Don't cry. It's not your birthday. Why are you crying?
I don't know.
Why you got to steal it from me?
That's kind of my thing.
Thank you, Myra. Love you too. And she's so sweet. Oh my gosh. Even all the bad things I normally say about her don't apply today. Yeah, they don't apply today. Sorry about that. And no, I'm not sharing. I'm not sharing. You guys are ask that. It's not allowed. That looks so good. So it's one of those things where you don't want to cut into it, right? You don't want to mess it up because it looks too good. But I'm going to. Oh yeah, I'm definitely going to. All right. So sorry guys. Appreciate your patience. I know you don't care anyway. You're like, whatever. We just love to see Myra. What was I saying? Oh yeah. Heat. Next week, there's your heat dome building. The atmosphere looks capped majority of the time. You probably don't care about the weather now. You're like, oh, this is boring. We get into the middle of the week. The heat core gets established over us. This is where there's a bit of well, my pen messed up. A bit of a donut hole effect here, which we'll get into that for the Ring of Fire. But that looks to break down, to get back to your question, Doc, on Twitch, that looks to break down as we head toward the very end of the period, and it may be near 4th of July. Sometimes these the models break this down. Once you get into a heat wave and the Death Ridge scenario, it's hard to break it down. The models are a little too fast, so I'm a little skeptical that it'll be a dip. Basically, the jet stream will have a big climb, almost like an Omega look, all the way into Canada, and then there's a dip in the Ohio Valley and then back out to sea. Does this part happen? Does it actually dip down into Ohio and Pennsylvania? If so, it would likely be at some point 4th of July weekend. And that would give us some showers and storms, and it would taper the heat down. If it stays more east, doesn't bother us at all, then there's not a lot of change. And honestly, at that point, we're going to need the rain. Even all the rain I just described to you all that's coming our way the next few days. If we go a week of what the heat looks like next week, we're going to run into a problem. Even that fast, issues start to develop. You dry out that topsoil quickly. So certainly by the 4th of July weekend, we're going to need some rainfall. And if we miss this, then we're going to start running into problems. But we'll see. These little dips that have been dropping down, they've happened several times this season so far. So maybe it will hold up. Here's that Ring of Fire. I like my graphic. The Ring of Fire that will lock in all the storms because it's a clockwise flow. Tend to just go all around it. So the Midwest, heading toward where Adam's going to be in Wisconsin, all the way down into the Ohio Valley. But it will be shifting slowly east right over, I would say the center of it, maybe end up being Mississippi, is where we may get the core of the heat. So let's get into the numbers. Here's the 10-day. You ready? All right. So stormy for the weekend. You got that covered, right? Off and on, not the entire time, off and on. I think if there's any alert day concern in the Short term, it's going to be tomorrow afternoon for the severe potential that may increase. We'll see. Otherwise, any alert day on flooding, I think, is going to be more short term issues. Like if we see that it's apparent that Louisville or one of our communities is facing a flash flooding scenario within the next few hours, we're going to issue an alert day and get the notifications out on the Wave Weather app right away. But as far as issuing 1 day in advance, I think it's too hard to do. And we don't want to put the alert day out for the entire alert weekend. I mean, we've had long alert days, don't get me wrong. But in this scenario, I think there will be breaks here. So I don't want the impression to go that it's going to rain all the time. Just when it does rain and storm, it's going to mean it. Then we're going to ease out of that into the heat. Now, initially, it's going to take some time to get the topsoil to dry out. So I think the heat may be slow to build. We're going with low to mid 90s. It may be slower than what I've shown here. It does tend to take a while because plants produce a lot of moisture and everything's green out. And after they're getting watered a lot this weekend, they're going to put out a lot of moisture. So that slows the thermometer down. But what it also has an effect on is the heat index. It'll make it go higher. So you could still feel like 100 and 205 as early as Monday and Tuesday, even if the actual high may be 93 or 94. You could really spike that heat index. So heat advisories may get issued just because of that alone. The second part of the equation that's a problem here, look at the overnight lows. Because of all that humid air, we don't have much of a reset that happens. In Louisville, I doubt we'll get below 80. We're going to be 80 or higher for a few days, nonstop. That is tough on our bodies, especially if you don't have the way to cool your house down. That takes a toll. So by the time you get to especially day 3 and 4, we start to run into heat illness that really shows up in the area. We've known that to happen every single summer that we get into this. So there could be alert days out for the heat next week, depending on how that evolves and when that core period really grabs us. But I think overall, you just need to make sure that your AC, take advantage of it now. I know we got a stormy pattern, but you got today and tomorrow. Hopefully they're open. If your AC is acting a little weird, make sure it's in good shape. Because if you try calling next week, you may be put on a wait list, because a lot of folks may run into problems. And this, again, if we don't see it reset by the 4th of July with that dip, there is nothing to stop this for a while. This is going to keep going. Fair enough? Everyone type 25 if you're good. If not, ask away. Ask away. Brandon says stay hydrated. Yeah, stay hydrated. Drink a lot of water for sure. Stay in the shade. You'll know heat illness starting on you when you start to get that headache. And dizzy feeling and like almost nauseous. That's your body telling you like, hey, chill out. Is it worth planting that petunia? No, probably not. Just chill out. If you stop sweating, then you're actually getting into heat stroke level. So sweating is actually a good thing in a sense that your body's doing what it's supposed to be doing. But once the sweating stops suddenly, then that's a warning sign in a huge way. Not only you stop what you're doing, but you probably need to go to the hospital. Okay, so trust your body. You know, everybody's a little built differently, tolerate things differently. I get that. But your body is designed to be used to you and it knows you very well. So it tries to help you out. Hopefully Saturday or July 4th isn't a washout. Hope not. It's pretty far out though, Doc. We'll watch it. My age, 25. There you go, Eric. I like what you're thinking. Yes, it's my 25th today. I like the way of thinking. All right, I'm going to run. Listen, you all be safe. I'll be here this afternoon for our afternoon shows, of course, and I'll be back on July 6th. But the crew here is going to get you covered. I'll be trying to keep tabs if I can to chime in. But overall, I think after we get past this weekend, there's not much to worry about other than the hot and humid weather that'll be coming our way. So you all behave yourselves, stay out of trouble. You know the drill. Don't get arrested, all that good stuff. And I will see you guys coming up on the flip side on midday at 11 a.m. Take care, everybody, and I'll see you soon in July.